Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS. Let's get to the news now, folks. I don't think I need to tell you how important any move like this could be for the Falcons. We're talking about a team that's been in the middle of the pack, hovering around 500, trying to find that spark, that extra piece that can elevate them from being decent to a real contender. And right now, that piece might be a cornerback, a shutdown corner that can truly lock down one side of the field. That's exactly what the Falcons are after, and it looks like they're poised to make a bold move. Rumors are swirling that the Atlanta Falcons are in advanced discussions to acquire Byron Murphy Jr. from the Minnesota Vikings, and I gotta say, if this trade goes through, it could be a game changer, not just for the Falcons' defense, but for the entire NFC South. So let's unpack what this means. First, Byron Murphy Jr., the cornerback from Minnesota, has been turning heads this season. This guy is not just your average CB, he's aggressive, physical, and incredibly versatile. He's known for being a real tackler, a player who refuses to give up yards easily. Over his career, he's accumulated 298 tackles, which is impressive for a corner, and he has 8 interceptions to his name so far. Not only that, but he's been consistently good in coverage, with a PFF grade of 89. 2 in 2024, which is elite. For those who follow advanced stats, Murphy's coverage grade last season was among the top in the league, sitting in the top 3 at his position. His stats in 2025 also tell a compelling story. In the early part of this season, he's racked up 21 solo tackles with no forced fumbles or interceptions, but his coverage numbers remain stellar. His coverage grade is at 91, and his expected points added per target is at 35, meaning he's effectively shutting down throws in his direction. His completion percentage allowed is around 51%, and he's allowed only 3 yards after catch per attempt. That's very solid for a cornerback in this league. Now, he did suffer a shoulder injury in Week 3, which cut some snaps, but even with that, his overall impact remains significant. The stats show that he allows virtually no touchdowns when lining up in the slot, further highlighting his versatility and ability to match up well against different types of receivers. This kind of player is exactly what the Falcons need. Their secondary, as many of you have seen, has been a bit porous this season. They're giving up around 27 points per game, which isn't terrible but definitely leaves room for improvement. The secondary has been a concern, especially with players like Phillips, who's been questionable with a triceps injury and illness, and Fuller, who's been out. These issues have exposed the Falcons' secondary, making it vulnerable against high-powered offenses. Bringing in someone like Murphy could be a huge upgrade, especially when considering how he could elevate players like A.J. Terrell. With Murphy on the other side, Terrell's PFF grade of 87. 6 would be complemented by a shutdown corner, making the Falcons' pass defense much more formidable and difficult for opponents to exploit. Now, that's where things get really interesting. The Vikings, who are currently sitting at 4-2, are in a bit of a tricky spot. They're in a transition phase, with an aging offensive line and a cap space situation that's pretty tight, only about $8. $6 million left, which limits their flexibility. There's talk that the Vikings are considering trading Murphy to free up some cap space and to get some draft picks that can help rebuild their trenches. According to reports, Minnesota could be looking to gather picks for the upcoming drafts, particularly in the trenches, as they shift focus to building around their young quarterback and younger offensive linemen. Specifically, the Vikings management has been rumored to be interested in acquiring draft picks for 2025 and 2026, especially to bolster their offensive line, which has struggled at times this season. The trade, as it's being discussed, involves the Falcons sending a 3rd-round pick in 2026 and a 5th-round pick in 2025 in exchange for Murphy. It's a move that makes a lot of sense for Atlanta, who have been actively looking to upgrade their secondary without giving up too much in terms of draft capital. Murphy, with his age, talent, and proven production, fits perfectly into their plans for a competitive window. And let's not forget, the Falcons are sitting at a 3-3 record, which isn't bad, but they have been inconsistent. Their secondary has been a weak point, especially against teams with a strong passing attack. Adding Murphy would provide a much-needed boost, not only in coverage but also in leadership and attitude. His aggressive style and tackling ability would be a perfect fit for what the Falcons want to build on defense. Plus, with Murphy's experience and playmaking ability, he could help solidify the secondary and allow the Falcons to be more aggressive against opposing quarterbacks, which is something they need to take more advantage of. Now, for the Vikings, this move makes some strategic sense. They're not necessarily looking to compete right now for a Super Bowl, but rather to rebuild and position themselves for future success. They're also trying to avoid paying Murphy a new contract that could be in the range of $19 to $22 million per year, which would be a significant cap hit. Trading him before that extension kicks in helps them manage their cap and focus on long-term rebuild strategies. It's a smart business move, especially when you consider that they're getting draft picks that they can use to shore up their offensive line, which has been a sore spot. Back to the Falcons, this move could be a real turning point for their defense. With Murphy on board, their overall defense could jump from being an average unit to a top-tier group. The simulation models and advanced stats suggest that with Murphy, the Falcons' pass defense could see a 17% reduction in EPA per pass, which is huge. Their overall ranking could jump from around 20th to inside the top 14, making them a much more intimidating opponent. And considering the current state of their secondary, that's exactly what they need to push the rest of their defense to new heights. What's also interesting is how Murphy's presence could impact the rest of the team. His ability to erase plays in the slot and shut down key receivers would allow Atlanta's other defenders to play more aggressively and less worried about giving up big plays. It also allows them to rotate players more effectively and manage their other injured or less effective corners. The secondary snaps that are currently spent trying to cover mismatched players could be more strategically used, leading to more pressure on quarterbacks and fewer completion opportunities. This could be a significant factor in turning close games into wins, especially against divisional rivals like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or New Orleans Saints. And let's remember, Atlanta's offense has been somewhat inconsistent, but they've shown flashes of brilliance, especially with their quarterback, who has a QBR of 84. 2, the defense stepping up with a shutdown corner like Murphy could relieve some pressure on their offense, allowing them to play more confidently and take more shots downfield. Plus, with the added depth in their secondary, their special teams and overall field position could improve, giving their offense more opportunities to score and extend drives. The potential shift in Super Bowl odds from plus 3,500 to plus 2,000 reflects how much this move could energize the Falcons' fanbase and boost their playoff chances. All in all, this is shaping up to be one of the most exciting and strategic moves of the NFL season. The Falcons are clearly making a statement. They're serious about contending and building a defense that can compete with the best in the league. Acquiring Byron Murphy Jr. would be a bold step, but one that could pay off big time. It's the kind of move that signals a franchise ready to take a leap forward, leaving their division rivals in the dust and setting their sights squarely on a deep playoff run. The NFL landscape is shifting, and the Falcons are positioning themselves right at the forefront of that change. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential trade? Do you believe Murphy is the missing piece that can propel the Falcons into true contention? Or do you think they should look elsewhere? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Atlanta Falcons. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay passionate and keep supporting your team. The Falcons are on the rise, and this could be just the beginning of something special.